I used to get so mad when someone wouldn't understand something I was trying to share. And if I was going to be really honest about it, it was beyond mad. I was hurt. I was hurt. I remember a time when I was in a mastermind and I was sharing a story and a desire to create something new in my world. I can't remember exactly what I was trying to get, but I was going to the group and asking for support. And I talked about it. I shared what I needed to share. And afterwards, the leader in the group just looked at me and he's like, I don't know what you're trying to say. You're speaking to a high level of abstraction. And I remember like being like, what? I just said it. Whatever I needed to say was out here. I wish I could remember exactly what it was. But he then goes and turns over to the rest of the group, and there's about 17 other people in that circle. And he's like, hey, let's just ask, like, how many of you understood what Niyama was trying to ask for? And no hands went up. No hands went up. And I wish in this moment I could say like, wow, that was a very humbling moment. And I just took that as a lesson for me. Nah, I was livid in my own way. Like as much as I get to live it, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm like, I don't understand this. I'm in a circle with people who can work with people who understand chakras and will do like human design and can be shamans and like all these other elements that leave the dimension of normal conversation. But I'm the one that's not understood. What's up with this? And I felt it. I felt not just that it was like the inability to understand, but it was like, oh, if you don't get what I'm talking about, then you don't get me. And that was so crushing because I had joined that group of people and to be honest, I was feeling lonely. I was like, this is a group of people who will finally be able to who can hang with all the ideas I have and can help me move forward because most other people in my world just don't get it. How, like, let me just pause really quick. How often do you find yourself like thinking, I wish they got it? I wish like, or saying to someone, you get it. I hear that phrase a lot. You get it. I was talking to and this feeling of just not being understood was really having this impact on me that day. So after some more questions came up, we ended up taking a break. And during the break, one of the members came up to me and asked, just offered something. She's like, Niyama, like, I'm going to offer something here. I said, okay. It's like, what if when someone says that they don't understand what you're saying, they just mean that they don't understand the words that you used to explain what you meant. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Isn't that what I don't understand means? It's like, yes, it could, but the way that you respond, it makes it seem as though you feel that when they say they don't understand what you say, you take it as they don't understand you personally. And I had to take a step back. I was like, actually, okay, yeah, no, that actually makes sense. Like I feel a personal connection. I feel isolated and alone when this happens. It's just like, yeah, I'm getting that sense. What if instead they simply just aren't able to understand? If that was the case and it had nothing to do with who you were as a person, but had everything to do with the way in which you are communicating, like what becomes available for you? And I wish I could come and say like, oh, I know exactly what to do. It was such a foreign concept to me that like people not understanding my words or what I was trying to say did not necessarily mean that they didn't understand me. And so I didn't have a response to her. And she offered something to me. She said, the next time someone says that they don't understand what you're saying, rather than taking it personal, why don't you give yourself a chance to take a breath and just take that question at the surface level and ask and say to them something along the lines of, okay, thank you. It was clear to me, but there's obviously something that I missed in the communication. Can you let me know what it is that you did understand? Or can you let me know what questions you have about what I was saying? The thought had never occurred to me. It never occurred to me that I could just slow down and just see perhaps I need to get better at the skill set of communication rather than just being upset about being misunderstood. We went into the group later on that day and we went back into a circle and I raised my hand once again and I asked another question that was important to me in terms of actually becoming a movement leader in the world at the time. And the person looked at me and said once again, like, I gotta stop you, like it's too high a level of abstraction. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was I stopped, I asked them for, I'm like, thank you. I thought I was being clear. Can you be, can you help me out? I would like to understand this better. And yeah, he gave a response. He gave his response to explain like what he meant by what I was saying. And literally, I don't remember the words, but I remember looking him back in the face and like, I'm really sorry, but like, you have just spoken at a level of abstraction that I still cannot hear. And his response was touche, right? Uh, but it was really in this space, like we both laughed about it, but it broke the ice of of there being tension around communicating there. And I share this story because we are visionaries. We're people who who are holding on to a dream, a hope, a vision of a more joyful world, even in the midst of suffering all around us. We that more joyful world could be out in society at large. It could be a more joyful company or more joyful team, a more joyful experience of us as individuals, or even within our families. And it may be at times difficult to have other people see that vision, something that feels so clear, so innate, so within us. Or we may feel that others are not actually understanding what we feel that we are putting across very plainly. And so I'm going to offer here four things that have been meaningful to me as I continue down this path of making abstract concepts feel real and concrete for people. And this is what we do. Our vision is an abstract thing, it doesn't exist yet. So, how do we go about doing it? One, I offer examples. So, whenever possible, to be able to take a situation and give it a real life example as it might play out in someone's life. Two, we offer story. So in this case here, I decided to focus on story here to share the experience of one time where I struggled in understanding how to take an abstract concept and make it feel concrete for others. The benefit of story is that it gives people a chance to see it through their lens and make whatever connections that they need in order to continue down the conversation with you. Another thing that I found to be really useful is what I'll call shared language. I think I'm going to actually call it like shared reality, but if in our conversation about making things feel more concrete, I'll call it shared language. And that here is just like just getting out of assumptions, getting out of assuming that the same word means the same things for two people, and instead just being clear about the distinctions that you have or the definitions that you have around it. Distinctions being how being the nuance around what you're trying to say, and then a definition being the actual meaning behind what you're trying to say, and giving space for that to be able to also live out in the world. And then the last thing that I've found, actually, there's more than just four, but like this, the last one I'll bring into this conversation. One of the most potent ways to take an abstraction and help it feel real for people is to take it out of the context of I call it almost like universality, the the ever applicable, right? So something that can apply, something that's generic enough or high level enough that anyone can find their space in it, and instead give people an opportunity to actually make it relevant for them in that moment. Oftentimes that might come by asking a question. So I talk about joy a lot, you know. I one of the ways that it's helped to actually engage people in a conversation and explain the entire concept of world joy is to slow down and just ask, like, do you remember the last time you felt truly joyful? And in asking that question, it then gives someone a chance to be able to go in for themselves and make it real, make the feeling of joy real. And then I can ask a follow-up question of, like, what would it be like if everywhere you went in your life, you were able to have that feeling? What if every day, every second going forward, you were able to have that feeling, even when you're sad, even when you're so on and so forth. And we continue on the conversation. I might say, what might it be like then, after they've given a response, that for you to be involved where every other person you meet also feels like they are in that level of true joy? How would your conversations change? How would your meetings change? How would your business change? Your relationships, your family, your business, your client relationships, so on and so forth. How would everything around you change if everyone was able, if you were able to get into that joy and hold it, and everyone else around you was able to do it? That there is one of the pursuits of what we do here in World Joy. We're trying to figure out, how do we create a world where that is actually possible? Now we've taken this abstraction and we've given people a chance to be able to internalize it and feel it as though it was them, and to see the actual. Basically, we created, in this example here, we helped them create a vision for themselves, and gave them a chance to go from the concrete place where they were and be able to abstract for themselves the level of impact. And so I want to offer these 4 different ways so we have examples, stories, shared language, shared reality, and then making it real for them, bringing it down from the universal to the personal, so that you can then go and play again, and they can see the impact at whatever level of abstraction or concreteness you want to bring in. And I bring this here because I know that as you're out there uplifting the world, as you're out there doing your work to make lives better and end suffering for one person or one group of people every single day, your ability to communicate your vision and to be understood with others only contributes to the ongoing success that you have. If you're looking for a place to come and continue this conversation and get a chance to practice this yourself, this is some of the things we do inside of the World Joy movement and beyond. So we'd love to come and actually be in a space as you build your skills and practice with us as well.
It's the World Joy movement. Yeah.
What was your greatest insight from this conversation? And if you want to come and be a part of a conversation like this live, it's really simple. Just go to beworldjoy.com and come introduce yourself, and let's take the conversation to the next level, because you're there now.
All right, let's play.